speak about this now. I'm joined by Iain Duncan Smith, a senior Conservative backbencher, and of course another former Tory leader. The idea of a free vote, that Brexit is so contentious, so complicated that at the end of the process it's right that MPs here vote with their conscience. That's John Major's suggestion. What do you think of it?
Well, actually, the MPs here at the end of it need to vote for what the British public mandated them to do when they had the referendum. The British people voted in the biggest election result that we've ever seen to leave the European Union. The government has to deliver on that, and at the end, the government has given Parliament, and will give Parliament, the right to say whether they agree with what's been negotiated or not, and that will be it. And I think that's the right thing to do. We have to leave because the British people have said we should leave, and we have to make the arrangements that we can. And therefore, having a second referendum or whatever, I haven't listened to John Major's speech, but it does seem to me rather absurd when actually we've had a referendum and they've spoken, and I think that's enough.
He says it's a matter of conscience now, that Conservative MPs should vote with their conscience. It doesn't matter what the party managers say to them.
I'm a little bit puzzled about this conscience bit. I was in the Parliament when Maastricht was going through, and I certainly remember the then Prime Minister, who I do believe was John Major, took away the whip from a whole group of Conservative MPs who used their consciences and voted against government policy, and they lost the whip and were kicked out of the Conservative Party. I remember the whips cracking down and bringing people in by ambulances to vote because they had to get his government policy through. Damascus and conversion seemed to come across here rather loudly. He was not a Prime Minister that was too keen on free votes when he was there. So maybe his advice to the Prime Minister, the present Prime Minister, should not be heeded so well.
Let's turn to Northern Ireland and the Irish border. Some of your colleagues have talked about creative solutions to all of this, but what Brussels are saying today is actually they can't see any solution to all of this, apart from Northern Ireland staying in some kind of customs union. What do you make of that? I
don't agree, actually, and I'm not alone in not agreeing about this. There's a very interesting EU parliamentary report that points out that there is no reason for a border, no matter what the settlement is, because there's a lot of ways of doing this. So they agree about it. The HMRC, the people responsible for food and farming, have all said we will be very set for whatever the arrangements are. There's no need for a hard border. All those goods and stuff can be sorted either side of the border, and ultimately will come up for sale. You know, if we're able to resolve illegal arms and illegal drugs by working with the Irish police, the Garda, and with the Northern Ireland Police Service, you know, how much easier is it to sort things out with regards to legal products? And remember, there are different VAT and different tax regulations that exist both sides of the border, and those are sorted out without a hard border. So this is a political nonsense being created by people who want to try and use it as a stick to beat a dog, as it were, to try and create this idea that somehow there's chaos and a problem there. There is no problem there, and it has no effect whatsoever on the peace process, which is adhered to by the Prime Minister, who made that very clear today.
Duncan Smith, thank you very much indeed.